Hey everyone, this is Stephen with Wonderland of Temuco Lane. Just wanted to stop in and just kind of talk a little bit about some things that I've learned over the years. I've been doing this for you know quite a few years. Like I started a long time ago, like decorating my parents' um, house that they were living in. But you know, I really didn't get the bug until 2006, where I had my own place, and I started putting items up, and I was in Lowe's one day, and I saw this box, and they had it kind of playing with music, and I was like, I wonder what that is, and well, I kind of Googled it, and it was actually like a Mr. Christmas box. Well, when I did some googling on that, I was like, wow. Um, you can actually make lights blink to music. And so that's kind of what I did from there. And so after I Googled that, I, you know, started seeing all these videos pop up on, you know, kind of your normal sites, um, like Facebook and, YouTube and other places. And I just started looking more into it. I was like, wow, these guys are really going over the top. And I was also watching, um, some TV one day, and on Home and Garden TV, they had these over the top houses from back in the early '90s that were decorating, um, and so I kind of you know saw that, and I was like, man, I can really do this. So I went to the store, just bought a lot of lights, and again, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just putting lights up anywhere I could possibly put them at, and you know, after I started doing that, I was like, wow, I can actually make designs out of these lights, and they can actually look pretty good. So I was using at the time incandescent lights, which I didn't really pick up on the difference between incandescent lights and LED lights. So I was just just plugging away with the lights, and then after I dug more into it down the road, I kind of realized that LEDs is kind of where it was, and so I you know stayed in that house that I was in up until I moved into another house, and so yeah, I want to say probably 2000 and gosh, probably 2013 is when I moved into the other house, and when I got into that house, that one I was also renting, so I couldn't do a whole lot. Um, and so I just kind of did some designs. It was all white lights, um, and every single light was LED. And I had a Santa that I put on the roof that was blow up. Again, I didn't, do very much. I was still, kind of, still trying to get my feet wet with this whole thing. And the one thing I will tell you, you learn in this hobby, it's fun. Um, but at the same time, like you know you do things and you see other people that do things, and you're like, why can you do the same thing? Well, you realize, well, you can't actually do it exactly the same way sometimes, um, because depending on you know the kind of ground they have or what they're using, you know may not work. So you have to kind of go through your own you know ways of kind of doing things. um, Now, the thing I will tell you is that for me, I've done a lot of, you know, just like, putting things together and, you know, keeping my fingers crossed that they'll work. And a lot of times they won't work. So if it doesn't work, then, I'll try something different and I'll just keep messing with it until I figure out how to do it. And that's kind of the one thing, that me and a buddy, we talk about as far as like, you know, there's a lot of people that, have been in the community for a long, long time. They've got some ideas, they've moved on, or, the new people kind of coming in, that want to get some information, they want to get more familiar with, the lights and what's going on. Um, you look up this stuff and you can't find it. So then, you kind of get stumped. And you get frustrated. I do it myself. I mean, again, I've been doing this since, full on since 2006. But at the same time, I mean, where I'm at now, I'm at my probably my fourth year, full on with Pixels. Um, and so you know what Pixels are. If you don't know, um, Pixels are, um, essentially the same type of light chips that you find in, something as simple as your TV. Um, it's got three different colors that's in this one small little chip, which is, red, blue, and green. And those colors at different times can mix together and just make, you know, a lot of different colors and combinations. And, it's kind of like a new thing that really kind of caught on. But, I'll go back to, like the regular LEDs. I mean, you know, used to just kind of do like a lot of people, just one string of lights, on bushes, or one string of lights on, the windows, or one string of lights on the roof line. But then what I started doing is, um, you know, I wanted to kind of, get a little more involved. So what I essentially started doing was, I would start, you know, once I got a little more into it, um, and I bought my first house in 2015. I also decided to do a little more research because I wanted to get a lot more involved into it. And, I looked up this company called Lightorama. Lightorama, has been around for a very, very long time. Um, and, a lot of people will use them, use their programs, or sometimes you use similar boxes with, a company called Vixen. Um, and there's a couple other companies out there, but a lot of Rama is pretty well known for the, incandescent lights and your LED lights, and have also moved into pixels. Um, and so I bought my first, you know, LED box, incandescent light box. It's a 16 channel, um, and my first year I was only using, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about, maybe about 500, 600 LED, incandescent and LED lights mix. Um, Again, I was still trying to get my feet wet, trying to figure out what to do. And, you know, the when I had and that's what I'm saying, as far as like the power too, there's a lot of things that you have to like really like pay attention to and really kind of get together because, when I plugged up all the lights, again, I just plugged them up. I didn't, think they had like any sequence to them. My first year I did, buy a couple sequences, because I wasn't familiar with how to sequence the lights. And I bought them through a lot of Rama, which you can. Um, Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of great people that um, that make their own sequences and they know exactly how to do it and do it well. So patronize them, whether you're doing it with LEDs or incandescent lights or pixels. But if you want to do it yourself, you can also do it yourself as well. Um, but at the end of the day, I mean, it just kind of comes down to your preference and the people watching your show. You know, they're just going to be amazed the fact that you know they drove by a house and you know your house is doing something different than like a regular house. Um, but yeah, so going back to um, the house that I bought in 2015, I realized after plugging in the lights um, that the inside lights were kind of flickering a little bit. So I needed to figure out what was going on there. So after that Christmas season was over, I looked into it a little more, and I realized that power distribution, that is something important. And again, you do find that on the lights. So when you buy a box of lights, um, it's on the usually on the back of the box or inside. It'll tell you how many lights you can plug up before they recommend that you're going to have an issue. And it's actually pretty accurate to do it that way. Um, Now, the thing I'll say too is, there's a lot of people that will push the limits because they have a lot of lights, and I mean, I know some people in the hobby, the Christmas light hobby, they've got you know 25 boxes, and they're running, 150,000 LED lights. That's when you know that you really have a massive, massive show with, again, power distribution, so you're not messing anything up in your house. It's very, very important. So what they usually do is they usually have a electrician, or they do it themselves. They have someone come in and just sort of build a um, power box to kind of take care of that. Um, Now my second year, I stayed at the house. Um, I want to say up until like 2020, and I grew my show from again 600 um, LED and incandescent lights, and I got it up to um, my last year of fully LED lights before I went to pixels was in 2019. I got all the way up to 65,000 lights, and I was running eight Lightorama boxes. And at that point, I'd really over the years, you know, had really done a lot of research, asked a lot of questions on the different forums and Facebook. There's a lot of groups that you can join. A lot of great people in the community that'll help out. And it's not just you know lighting community. I mean, it's just the thing that I love about it is that you have something in common with somebody else, so then you become friends, and you know you end up becoming more than that. Um, so that is something that you also develop in this community as well. Um, but that my last year with in 2019 with the 65,000 LED lights. At that point, I had already went full LED. Um, I did have Pixel Tree and Pixel Arches in 2019, just to kind of try things out. And I realized after looking back at the videos, which is important too. So you want to you know tape your videos if you can, and you want to also kind of do a walkthrough just so you can kind of look back and see things. Um, but you do that every year, and once you do that, you really can look back and throughout the year and say, you know what, I wish I'd have done this, wish I'd have done that. Or I can move something, from that spot to something else and to make it look a little better. Um, but that's all that does is just kind of make you more of a professional at what you're doing. Um, and people definitely appreciate it because, when they come through and they look at your show and they see that you're not just kind of throwing stuff all up together, and they can actually see that you took time to map out your show and place things, and it's a little different than just somebody on a normal basis that has lights. um, but so in 2020, I went full LED. I completely just started selling all the props that I had, from LED on condensate lights, all my lights, all my wires. I mean, it was crazy because I had a lot of wires, a lot of lights, and just a lot of props and stuff that you don't realize that you had throughout the years. Um, that's the one thing too. Like, you know, you go into the stores and you can get stuff when they're in sale. Um, and sometimes you have to get it during the season. Um, but my goal every year was always to just sort of make sure I shop when it's 50% off or 75% off or 90% off. Usually once it gets about 90%, even 75% now, you really don't find anything. Um, but 50%, day after Christmas, sometimes some of the stores like Lowe's or Home Depot, they'll do it beforehand. And so you just have to you know kind of put that on your list. I need to have you know this particular item, so you go ahead and grab that and put it on the side. um, Now, what I would say too is you know even within the year, when you notice that you know something that you put together that you feel like the next year you need to kind of build and make it better. Because the one thing that we do see in this hobby is that, like, you do get you know rainstorms and windstorms, and you know depending on where you live, I mean, everybody gets different climates. So you have to make sure that you put together the stuff that just makes sense for you. Um, so you're not like constantly having to worry about stuff falling over, or stuff not being right. Um, so you would just want to try to make it strong as you can from the beginning. Um, and it, again, it's a lesson learned. Nobody is gonna make it perfect the first time. In fact, I mean, I haven't. I'm still learning too. Putting up trees and mega trees and stuff like that, or props on the house. Like, you try to find different things, and that's where I'm saying what the community helps. So depending on if you've got a you know brick house, or if you got a panel house, whatever it is, there's so many different things that people are putting together. Or now I see like people are kind of you know they're building actual stuff that you can you know make just for your house. um but yeah, I mean, it's a great hobby. And the new house I'm in now, I'm still full pixels. I mean, I do have some blow molds, because I'm from the '80s, so I love blow molds. um and I love the pixels too. I love what you can do with them. um and don't get me wrong, I still love LED lights as well. um but I just I loved what I saw, what people could do with the pixels. So I went toward the pixel side. But I see, just like what I did too, and you know, from 2015 all the way up to 2019, you know, you can take LED lights and you can, you know, add different colors, and make it look like something that you people just would not believe. In fact, I'll tell you, I had a neighbor um, in 2019. I had um, five different colors along with some sparkles. So I had six different strings of lights on my roof line. And my neighbor, he's like, how do you make your roof line change colors? And I try to explain it to him, and that's for us, it's like night and day talking about this stuff. But sometimes when you talk to your neighbors, they're like, they're you can see it in their face, they're puzzled. But that's the fun of it, I mean, for me, I could talk about this stuff all day long, because I love it. I love seeing what it does, and I tell you, I mean, for me, just I drive around like Christmas time, looking at different people's houses, and even people that you wouldn't even think would be doing something as grand of a show. For me, when I see it, I know a lot of us in this hobby, when we see this, we see somebody's house and it's like all decked out, we get all like, kind of happy inside. You're like, man, they really, really took some time with that. So that's the kind of thing I love that feeling, and love seeing the kids, the smiles on their faces. And it's crazy because, like, just doing what we do, you know, even get the kids' smiles end up on the adults' faces, because they hear songs that they grew up with, you know, whether it's pop songs or um, whether it's Christmas songs, old school, new school, you know, it's just something to just really kind of give them some joy back. And it's all about just kind of creating, you know, a dream, and creating, something that people have that they can, take back home, and say, man, that really, sparked the Christmas magic back in me. Because I mean, a lot of people go through things during the years and you just don't know it. Christmas time can be hard, but they go out, and they look at lights and they find a show like yours or something like that. And whether you do static or whether you do an actual light show, for me, I love all lights. Anything Christmas lights, anything Christmas, I'm all about it. Um, my wife thinks I'm crazy, but you know, I'm just I'm just a Christmas nut when it comes down to it. I watch Christmas movies, all throughout the year. You know, Christmas in July, I wait on it, love it, because for me it's just like a mid-year, Christmas. And I watch a lot of different Hallmark and different Christmas movies and stuff, just to, again, just kind of keep that Christmas in the heart. Um, and for me, I mean, it's you know the lighting stuff that we do. I mean, it's not easy at all. I mean, it's a lot of people, they just see the outside of it. They don't realize it really is a lot of work that goes into it. Um, and so for me, because it's such a hard grind, I'll give myself a month. The month of January, I don't do anything, um, when it comes to like putting up lights or anything like that, or even testing, or sequencing, because I know once January hits, February hits, I'm going to go full on to it. Um, but just kind of getting back to um, the current house, like the current house right now. Um, first year, I didn't do a whole lot. Um, but then, this past year, I really amped it up. I did a garage matrix. I did, um, you know, a 18-foot mega tree and a 15-foot mega tree. I did pea stakes. Uh, I did some other things, and it really, really gave it a nice show. And you know, at the end of last year, or the year before, which was 2021 season, I told myself going into 22 season that I wanted to do something different. I go to Disney World a lot, and just go to different places, and I love how with them you see what they do. It's not just lights. Like when you watch what they do, they put a show on, and people come to your house. If that's what you're after, which is what I was trying to do for myself this year. And so I did certain songs, and I did some jokes, some interactive stuff in between. I added a push button for the music. So, my whole goal was to just do things that really kind of gave them, a different experience. And, I'm taking it to another level even for the 23 season. Um, I've got a fog machine. I'm going to incorporate some DMX stuff. So I'm using the fog machine with DMX. I'm also using some moving heads. Nothing as grand as Disney, but eventually I will get there. And at the same time, too, I don't want to have it too big of a light um, as a moving head because I am still residential. Um, but I think it'll be what I'm using. It's going to be enough to where somebody will get the gist of what I'm trying to do as far as creating a pretty good show for people that are coming in to take a look at it. Um, but yeah, just kind of wanted to give you a little bit more of what in depth of what you know about me. And I'm just I'm 42 years old, and just my love for Christmas is just over the top. Um, and I'm going to be doing this as long as I can. Um, and I'm also going to be incorporating something from my sister who passed away a couple years ago. Um, but just wanted to stop in and just kind of give you guys kind of a glimpse of you know my timeline and what I've got going on, and you know going to be doing some more videos, and you know I'm going to have to do some upgrading on a few things that again myself I learned from last year that didn't know what was going to fall over or whatever, but you know I'm going to fix some stuff, and I'll show you guys um, even some stuff I learned on the LED side um, that I think that a lot of people don't know you can do, um, but you really can, and it's really simple to do. So I'm going to have some videos out like that you can see as well. Um, but again, this is my name's Steven, and I run a light show, which is called Wonderland of Temuco Lane Holiday Light Show, and we're based out of Somerville, South Carolina, and you know had a physical name Light Show since 2015. It was Lights on Taggart, where we got some exposure as far as newspaper write up. We had the Channel 4 and Channel 5 news that came through. Um, the radio station here, 95.9, they love us. Um, but we haven't had anybody yet, come through to do any interview here yet. But you know, we also when we're at the old house, um, we had a lot of people that would come through, even as far as Savannah, and we did get um, a phone call one day. I was at work. I saw the number come through, and I was like, I don't know if I should pick it up, and I picked it up, and it was actually a phone call from Great Christmas Light Fight, and just like anybody else in the light world, I mean, you get excited because somebody actually they saw what you had going on. They're like, wow, this guy actually should be on the show. Um, so we did what we could as far as getting through, and decided that we wanted to move, so we kind of had to back out. Well, full speed ahead. New house, new layout, new everything. Um, we have now submitted everything back in. Um, you know, just kind of waiting, just kind of see what's going to happen there. But you know, I feel like, I mean, there's a few things that I want to do um, before that happens. But you know, my wife's, she's been pushing to help me try to get on there. Um, but I love, that's another one of the shows that I just recorded. I watch it through the years, videos, TV. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just always anything Christmas. I'm always watching it. Um, but that's just a little bit about what I've had going on from my early entry to the Christmas light world, and um, hopefully you like what you see, and um, the content. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of content coming through, and looking to get more and more that I know out, so people can it can be easy for people to do things. Um, but if you like everything you see, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. Have your friends do it, family. It's just it's a great channel that I'm gonna kind of push forward, and just kind of really help people move closer and closer to helping their show get um, to a nice level. But once again, thank you guys. Peace out.